Super Bowl 57. A lot of different things that we can touch on, a lot of different things we can bet on. I'm going to give you 5 different markets or bets that you guys can get in on at a sports book or just, with your friends. If you want to do friendly bets, head to head bets, right? Because there's a lot of these bets that have one side or the other, or a pool, right, with your friends on multiple option bets that we'll get into and I'll explain later on, as well as my picks for the actual game itself. We'll start with all the different bets that you can place that are non-game on the field football bets that you can place. And there's 2 in particular that catch my attention that are always fun to bet on, right? The first one is the coin toss. Get in on the action, heads or tails. It's a 50-50 bet, right? You don't have other outside things. You don't have other, influences or anything else. It's just, will the coin toss be a heads or will the coin toss be tails? I specifically am always a heads guy on the coin toss. Always, always, always a heads guy. Tails never fails is such a common misconception because it's obviously 50-50. And if it hits tails, it hits tails. That's fine by me. But I'm going to take heads almost every single time I have a coin toss. I like the prospect of, heads being the underdog in a lot of ways. I like the prospect of fading the tails people. So on the coin toss specifically, it's funny. It's interesting that you can bet on it, and I like that idea. So go check it out if you guys haven't already. Both of them are usually, minus 110 or whatever the case may be. I'm going to be a heads guy, and that's the first bet I'm going to be taking for the Super Bowl. Another bet that is available at a lot of different sports books, and that is available, in a lot of different places you can bet on. And this is one that I mentioned before with a lot of, multiple options. So you get a bunch of friends together. You can pool your money in on one particular option. You can draw out of a hat on different options and colors and things. And it is the color of the Gatorade that gets dumped on the coach of the winning team, right? So let's say Chiefs win the Super Bowl. The coach, they lock it down with the kneel at the final play of the game. Andy Reid starts walking towards the middle of the field. Guys dump the Gatorade over his shoulders, as is typically ceremonially what they do when coaches, on coaches when they win the Super Bowl. There's a multitude of different options here. There's a bunch you can choose from as I'm looking at it. FanDuel's got option 1 is orange Gatorade. Option 2 is yellow or green. They put them together. Option 3 is clear or water, right? So it'd be like a clear colored Gatorade or water. Option 4 is blue Gatorade. Option 5 is red or pink. Option 6 is purple. And on a couple other sports books, they have no Gatorade bath as an option. Now to start off, okay, I wouldn't take no Gatorade bath to begin with. Okay, I just wouldn't do it. I think it would be stupid to take that, even though you think you're getting value, right? You think like, oh, well, maybe it just gets caught up or this and that. Almost, I feel like no matter what. I mean, looking back in the history here of Gatorade colors to be dumped on the winning coach, they have a historical reference sheet of every color of Gatorade that gets dumped on the winning coach. Gatorade has gotten dumped on the winning coach every single year since 2000. Every single year. Except for 2002 with the Patriots and Bill Belichick. And that was a last-minute game, or a last-minute determination. And 2002 and 2004. Both with the Pats, both with Belichick, both with guys. Oh, and apparently 2017 also. Oh, geez. All right. You know what? Let me rephrase this here. Every year since 2000, there's been Gatorade dumped on the coach, except for 02, 04, and 17. All were the Pats. And then 2013 with the Baltimore Ravens. But again, I'm almost certain that many of these games and those determining plays were the last or second to last plays of the game. There was not enough time, right? There's not enough time, in my opinion, in those games for the guys to get together, coordinate it. All right, yeah, this game's over. We're going to be taking a knee. Grab the Gatorade. Let's go dump it on coach, right? When those games come down to the final play, it gets a little bit interesting. The other reference sheet, or the other reference that I wanted to put into this consideration here, is that in 2020, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl over the 49ers. They went with orange as the Gatorade color. And according to the odds makers, at FanDuel, orange is the second odds-on favorite, and at BetMGM, orange is the favorite. You also have a team on the other side like the Eagles. Okay? Now, I don't know what the Eagles reference sheet is. I don't know, if there's a historical database on which color the Eagles used for their Gatorade. But according to this article that I have here listed on thelines.com, orange has appeared more than any other Gatorade color since 2001, as it's shown up 5 times. Think about that, though. 5 times is really not that many times in a 22-year span. Orange Gatorade went on the Chiefs in 2020, like we talked about. But yellow and green is favored on FanDuel. So if I'm taking my best pick here, I'm not going to take a chance on these long shots, on purple, on red or pink, or even blue, right? I think I'm going to keep it basic and down to the top 3 options at most sports books, which is yellow or green, orange, or clear/water. I think those are the best 3. If I had to make my choice, I don't think it's going to be clear/water. I also don't think it's going to be orange. I think it's going to be yellow or green. So my pick for the Gatorade color is going to be yellow or green. The other ones that we have to talk about here are more based on the game itself, right? We have a few different ones here that are, about the game, but they're not necessarily like total game, like total yards or like how many over under touchdowns or different stuff. It's like a lot of it's one play, one situation, one scenario, instantly, decided bet, basically. And the first one that I think is honestly hilarious, is the jersey number of the first touchdown scorer. And it's listed at over or under 11.5. What that means is the jersey number of the first touchdown scorer, you take over 11.5 or under 11.5. Now, of course, you have guys like Jalen Hurts, who could very easily score the first touchdown as a runner of the ball at quarterback. His jersey number is 1. You also have Patrick Mahomes. His jersey number is 15, which would be over 11.5. You have, on the Chiefs roster specifically, a guy like Isaiah Pacheco, running back. His number is 10. Jerick McKinnon, another running back. His number is 1. So there's 2 running backs that touch the ball a lot for Kansas City that are both under 11.5. On the flip side, I mentioned Jalen Hurts has number 1, but you have guys like Miles Sanders, number 26. Kenneth Gainwell, number 14. A.J. Brown is number 11. Devontae Smith is number 6. So you have a lot of different things to choose from. You know that every receiver and tight end, for the most part, if they're not single digits, is going to be in the 80s. Right, you got Dallas Goedert, tight end, is at number 88. Obviously, Travis Kelce is number 87. Mecole Hardman on Kansas City, number 17. Other receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster is number 9. Valdez-Scantling is number 11. It's a really, really, really solid number for them to be listing that number at, right? Jersey number of the first touchdown, over or under 11.5. Under 11.5 is listed at minus 130, which means according to the sports books, that's the favorite, right? That's the more likely outcome than over 11.5. And because of that, I think that I'm going to ride with also under 11.5. You got AJ Brown's number 11, Devontae Smith's number 6, Jalen Hurts is number 1, Pacheco's number 10, Jerick McKinnon's number 1. I just think it's more likely. Now, if it goes to a tight end at 88 with Goddard or at number 87, Travis Kelce, I can live with that. What's going to be frustrating is if Mahomes gets the ball first and scores on a QB scramble or whatever, that would piss me off. Okay. But I'm going to be taking under 11.5 for the jersey numbers of the first touchdown score. I think there's the value there. I think there's legitimate reasoning behind that. And I think under 11.5. I think under 11.5 is the best pick. Don't have to follow me on these, but I think it's the best choice. Up next, another fun one that'll be settled instantly, is the result of the opening kickoff. Will it be returned or will it be a touchback? And that's another one that you can take a step back and just look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers objectively and sit back and see that Philadelphia, aka Jake Elliott, has a 65% touchback rate on kickoffs. Kansas City and Philadelphia's 65% is listed at the 11th in the league. Right under them at 12th in the league is Kansas City with 64% touchback percentage. Jake Elliott for the Eagles, Harrison Butker for Kansas City. In a dome in Arizona, Super Bowl on the line, opening kickoff, absolutely jazzed up. I am going to take touchback. I'm going to take touchback. I think I took touchback last year and it bit me in the butt. But I think ultimately that's one where it almost has to be a touchback. You just take the percentages, take the numbers. In a dome, two kickers with big legs, controlled environment, right? No wind, no outside factors. It has to be a touchback. So in that market, touchback or return on the opening kickoff, I am going to be taking touchback. Next on the list, and one of the more fun ones that I'm also, going to have action on. Shortest touchdown yardage in the entire game. Meaning, what yardage will the shortest touchdown of the game be? And the line is set at over or under 1.5. Okay. So 1.5 yards is what the total is set at for the shortest touchdown. So what that means is if you take over 1.5 for the shortest touchdown in the game, you think the shortest touchdown will be at least 2 yards or more. Take the under, you're basically banking on a 1 yard touchdown. That being said, the under 1.5 for shortest touchdown yardage in the game is at minus 180. That's a heavy favorite. Over 1.5 is plus 150. Again, I know there's not a ton of value in this scenario, but I'm going to continue to hammer the under 1.5. Why would I do that? Because since 1990, 70% of Super Bowls have featured one 1 yard touchdown. 70%. On top of it, you got Philadelphia, you got Jalen Hurts, you got the absolute Masters Kings reliance of the QB sneak. Jalen Hurts loves to get right under center, two guys behind him, the push for the 1 yard. And if you're telling me there's not going to be a 1 yard touchdown, at least with Philly running the ball in some capacity, even last year's game, or actually whatever it was, 2 years ago with Kansas City and Tampa Bay, there was a 1 yard touchdown in that game. And it was Mahomes throwing a 1 yard touchdown pass. So I think it's more likely that it's going to happen than it won't. And if I'm taking the bets, or if I'm taking a side on the shortest touchdown yardage in the game, I'm taking under 1.5 yards, meaning there's going to be a 1 yard touchdown. And then I think that's it for this, except for the final picks of the game and the ones that I'm going to be taking. Now, these are directly related to the game. This is the spread, and this is the total. 50.5 is the total set for this game. I want to take the over. Everybody wants to take the over because that would mean an entertaining game, an entertaining matchup, a lot of points. And that being said, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna take under 50.5. I think Philadelphia's defense is going to absolutely stymie the Kansas City offense. I think the Eagles play stellar defense and run the ball all over the place, which runs the clock. And so I'm taking under 50.5. I'm also going to be taking the Eagles on the spread. Eagles are only 1.5 point favorites. Some people argue that Kansas City should be favored. A lot of different things. And, you know, I just don't agree. The Eagles are a much better and much more well-rounded football team. The defense is stellar. The run game is excellent. And Jalen Hurts can throw the ball with almost anybody in the league. Their offensive weapons are crazy. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Gainwell, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts, Quez Watkins. I mean, dude, they're loaded. Kansas City is sort of loaded. Mahomes is obviously incredible and the best quarterback in the league. Kelsey's great. Pacheco's solid. But on defense, they're not going to be able to stop the run game. And it's going to run out the clock, and the Eagles are going to win by at least a touchdown, maybe two. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Eagles minus 1.5 on the spread, and I'm going to take under 50.5 because I think that's reasonable. So those are my picks for the shortest touchdown yardage of the game. First jersey number of the first touchdown score, coin toss, the result of the opening kickoff, the Gatorade color, the total, and the spread.